was a heartbreaker, wasn't it, Tom?
Whose heart got broken? Wasn't mine.
Well, I can say that my heart not only stopped several times, but it was also broken.
Never lost faith for even a second.
Okay. Well.
Wait, welcome back, you lunatic.
Yeah, fuck you. I was about to do that. If you just let me do it instead of being an impatient cunt.
You're just taking forever.
Anyway, welcome to the Fumble Forecast divisional round coverage, or wrap up rather. I'm your host, Tom, with Mark.
I'm Tom. All right. This guy's Mark.
I know what I said, and a lot of heartbreak going around in this divisional match, I can imagine. A lot of heartbreak. Somebody expected to win. Another who won and is only going to have their dreams crushed. Well, two have won and are going to get their dreams crushed.
Well,
and then of course, the Eagles completely dominated the Rams. Wasn't even close.
It wasn't even close.
Yeah, so I'm going to take this
outskilled.
I'm going to take this by the horns, and we're going to go through the 4 games this week.
Starting by the horns, are we going with the Texans?
Yes, indeed.
I don't want to talk about the Texans game. That was a disgrace.
Indeed, a disgrace to football. Now, I had some hopes. I knew better than to expect that the Texans would be able to defeat the Chiefs. I understood that. But the instant that they fumble on the kickoff return, the play let me pull this gentleman up. When Boyd throws his helmet.
Oh yeah, that was insane. What are you doing?
And then pushes his special teams coach.
Oh, what the fuck was he thinking, man?
That there said to me, yeah, this is an immature team. They are not going to beat them.
That was stupid.
You know what? Somehow you kind of did it. You kind of could have done it, Texans. 3 field goals in the first quarter, a touchdown in the 7th, nothing in the 3rd, and then a field goal and a touchdown in the 4th. 23 points for the Chiefs. You could have stopped them. But your immaturity and your failure to give CJ Stroud a O-line that can actually protect him cost you the game, Tom.
Now listen. Every game this season that the Chiefs have gotten away with a few, I have said, that's just the game. That's how it is. Just the game. Sometimes you get bad calls. Sometimes you get the good calls. Sometimes you're lucky. This game was fucking rigged.
True.
Dude, I watched a man in Will Anderson Jr. not even take a step, hit a quarterback as he threw the football, and get a roughing the passer call thrown on him. That changed the entire drive. And it's not just a one penalty deal. This kept happening over and over and over again. It was a very clear and obvious pattern that the Chiefs were favored with the calls in this game. And I know I'm already going to hear it. Oh my God, we know what calls on both sides. Yeah, but the difference is that all of the calls against the Chiefs are happening on 3rd and long. And all of the calls that are happening on the Texans are when they're on, like, first downs, you know? Like, it's just not, it's nowhere near as impactful. You know what I'm saying, Mark?
Yeah, no,
Because
I agree.
nothing wears down a defense more than third down shows up, you get a big stop, and then the yellow flags appear in your peripheral vision. Nothing demoralizes the defense more than that.
Mhm.
So it's just kind of like, what the fuck did you expect the Texans to do? They're just not allowed to play football.
Yeah. I also particularly love this. I don't know how true this was. I want to believe it just because I'm salty, but I won't claim its authenticity. I remember seeing this graph that compared the most recent teams to make it into the playoffs, how good, how many penalties were for them and how many penalties were against them. And the Chiefs led in both categories, both having the highest amount of penalties that helped them out and the lowest amount of penalties that impacted them.
Yeah. I mean, and
So,
listen,
like,
I still am of the opinion that it's not actually rigged. I don't actually think that it's rigged. But quite frankly, we are having a clear problem here in the NFL where the offense is so heavily favored for penalties that whichever team gets more offensive snaps is guaranteed to get more penalties in their favor on both sides of the ball. And it's simply because offense is so extremely favored that they're going to get all the calls. So, like, for example, if you end the game with 25 minutes time of possession versus, I know this isn't actually how it works out, but let's say you have 25 minutes time of possession versus 5 minutes time of possession for the other team. One of those teams is on offense for 25 minutes and the other's on 5. Of course, they're more likely to get more favorable calls during that time because the league favors offense. The league itself, all of it, including the commissioner, need to all get together and agree on ways that they can make defense get back into the game because it's such an offense dominated sport right now that it's borderline not even fun to watch the better teams. And the reason that I say that is because you go into these games just the Chiefs are going to win and they're going to have the ball more and they're just going to win. It's going to be really low scoring because they're just going to hang on to the ball for extremely long drives and they're still going to just somehow win because they just get all the penalties because they're on offense the entire game.
mhm.
That's how favored or offense is compared to defense. You can't even
Yeah.
sniff a quarterback in football anymore.
Well, no, you can sniff a quarterback as long as it's not Mahomes.
That's not true.
Yeah, I
Let's
know.
be real. There's a lot of bullshit calls.
Yeah, I
Roughing
know.
the passer is the biggest pile of bullshit ever. They need to get rid of that sliding shit. They
Yeah,
added it like 4 years ago, and it's been a disaster. If you're
yeah,
gonna run, you're
and
gonna get hit, and that's the way that the rules should work.
also, I'm just looking at the stats now. So we both agree time of possession means you usually win, right?
Well, no. What I said is it means you
No,
get
no, no.
more calls in your favor.
No, no, no. I'm saying like you see a team that has majority time of possession, you expect them to win, right?
No,
Okay.
I just expect them to get more favorable calls. That's why this game was such bullshit.
Okay.
Because
Well,
I know that the Texans had more time of possession and they got worse calls.
in the Chiefs Texan game in these four games was the only game in which the team that did not have the majority of possession won. The Commanders, the Eagles, and the Bills all had majority possession. Now, what I want to bring up is that both the both the Eagles and Bills had similar-ish times of possession. Both games were split about half, about 30 minutes each, right? The Lions and the Chiefs both got 26 minutes of possession. It is insane how similar these games went and how
Oh yeah,
different
but
the
the Texans
outcomes
still
were
lost.
and how different the outcomes were. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because it kept happening on downs and positions on the field that were extremely important. And all right, listen, I want to jump back really quick. I think you're right in your first initial opening here about this game. The the Texans were clearly too immature, they were clearly too uncontrollable, and they were clearly too undisciplined. But I will disagree with you. They are not too young. That is bullshit. Jaden
What?
Daniels is in the
Whoa,
you
whoa,
said
whoa,
they're too
whoa.
young, too immature, and too
I'm
undisciplined is what you said.
I meant the young as being immature, not that they're
Their
not that
actual
they're
ages.
yeah.
Either
No,
way,
I understand.
I want to jump in here and I
Mhm.
wanted to make a point. It's not about the players and where they're standing here. If your team is behaving like this, where players feel in any universe like it is okay for them to walk up to their special teams coach and lay hands on them, on their own coach, that means that the head coach has a problem. This is D'Amico Ryan's fault, or DeMarco. I forget what the fuck his first. Mr. Ryan's. This is Mr. Ryan's fault for not disciplining his guys well enough that they are ready to go for this game. Because if they had disciplined their guys well enough, there is a 0% chance that a player lays their hands on a coach. That is completely fucking unacceptable. Should have been cut from the team before he even got to the locker room. You're cut. Coach tells him that on the way to the locker room. You're cut from the team. Fuck off.
Mhm.
That's how that should go. Just at that point, it's to make a fucking example of him. Because let's be real, he's a fucking bum anyway. Who cares? Nobody's ever fucking heard of that guy before.
Hmm.
So I'm going to be real with you here. Yeah, the penalties were a problem. Yeah, the Chiefs got a lot of really suspicious calls. But why the fuck does the head coach not have his team ready to go in a divisional playoff game? And you know what? I say this. Mr. Ryans used to be a member of the Eagles. And it sucks. I hate saying this about somebody who was part of the Eagles staff at one point. Why is this happening? How do you fail so drastically as a head coach that you let one of your players lay hands on one of your coaches? That's just insane. I can't talk about it enough. It is an indicator of a much bigger problem on that team and with that organization that player even thought it might be okay. And it's a reflection on the head coach.
Mhm.
Starts with you, champ.
And
Insane.
I want
And
to
they can't
bring
allow 8 sacks. That's fucking ridiculous. Sorry, I got really angry about this game.
I mean, it's fair. It's fair. It is when bullshit like this happens. It's not fun. It's not fun to watch.
Yeah. And I
It's
feel so bad for CJ Stroud because, like, he had an amazing game, all things considered. Like, 245 yards passing, 19 for 28, and then he ran for 42 yards on only 6 carries. That's good. Like, the thing is, he just didn't score any touchdowns. That's it. And every time it's because of these dumb fucking penalties.
yeah.
Absolutely insane. Moronic, even.
All right.
And honestly, sorry, I'm really going hard on the Texans
No,
here.
it's fine.
The
It's
over
deserved.
reliance on Nico Collins as a wide receiver in order to make your offense go is a huge red flag, big problem. Because, and I think we watched the end of that game together, didn't we?
No, we didn't. We
No,
watched
you
the
sure? I
beginning.
must have just been ranting to Emily again. But I remember watching this, and at the end of the game, there were like 3-4 passes in a row. Bam, Nico Collins. Bam, Nico Collins. Bam, Nico Collins. But the thing was, I don't even know what the fuck the playbook maybe looks like in these locker rooms. And I knew going in that they were going to throw it to Nico Collins 3 times in a row while they had the ball in their hands. And the reason that I know that is because the Texans are so ridiculously predictable that me, a layabout nobody, could figure out who they were going to throw it to. And I could tell just from watching where the receivers were going that they were trying to make Nico Collins either the first or the second read. But on top of that, and I lay this on CJ Stroud more than the coaching staff, it is so obvious that he only trusts Nico Collins to catch the ball, because there were some of these routes where he would be the third read and he would jump right to the third read and throw it to him. That is not acceptable. You need to coach your guy better. This is a young, talented quarterback, and you are putting him in situations where he is going to learn bad habits and make bad decisions. You cannot do it. It is not acceptable. I'm finished now.
All right.
And one more thing.
Now, as I already brought him up, let's move on to the other number 1 seed title match.
I don't want to.
My heart goes out to you, Detroit.
Mine doesn't. Fuck you, you assholes. All right. I have strong opinions about this game. I have strong opinions about every game. What am I talking about? You go first. I already know what I want to talk about.
What's new with you? Like, I have strong opinions.
What do you mean? I never have strong opinions.
Washington, it hurts me. It really does. But you guys came to ball, and ball you did.
Oh, mad respect.
Detroit looked like they didn't come to ball.
Do not come.
I don't know if they just underestimated Washington, or maybe they just felt super comfortable. Whatever happened, and maybe you have a theory on this because I can't find one. Detroit did not look like the Detroit that we've been seeing the entire season.
They haven't for a while.
Sure, that could be argued, but I feel like at the very least during the regular season there was something there. Like, okay, yeah, they could fix this in the round 1 bye that did not seem to be fixed. And I'm gonna pose this question, Tom.
Oh no. Stop. You don't have to do this. He called me and said this shit to me in the middle of the game. Stop trolling me.
I'm sorry.
I'm innocent.
I'm sorry, but I have to do it.
Alright, go ahead.
Who won in the Stafford Goff trade, Tom?
Yeah, fuck off. I didn't mean it like that, and everyone fucking knows it. Alright?
I mean,
everyone has bad takes sometimes. Okay? And my take was taken out of proportion. Okay? Alright? That's not what I meant, young man. But don't make me age 15 years just to yell at you. But yeah, the Lions won that trade. They still won. I'm sorry, buddy.
Mm-hmm. How many rings do they have?
You don't even have to ask that. How many Super Bowl appearances do they have in their franchise history? Stinky Lions! God damn, dude. So anyway, are you done?
I mean, yeah, if you I'll pass the mic over to you.
Dan Campbell is a fucking bonehead.
I knew this was coming.
Ben Johnson is a fucking bonehead. Jared Goff is an innocent bystander who's just doing what he's told. He's literally just executing the plays. They're just moronic plays. But he is executing. He is executing as good as he possibly can, except in this game. In this game, he really 23 for 40 passes for Mr. Goff on this day. But for 313 yards, it's not a small number. 1 touchdown, but the absolute killer dagger nail in the coffin. 3. Count them. 1, 2, 3 interceptions, except they didn't get the W, they got the L. And the thing about that is that Jared Goff has been the whole season by far the most consistent quarterback in football. Like, not even close. I don't think anybody would really argue with me about that one. He has been ridiculously consistent. Very low turnover. Very high completion percentage. Jeff's kiss quarterback performance all season. However, gotta say, you waited until a playoff game to have the worst game of your season. I don't know about that one, Chief. That doesn't sit right with me. I don't know what he was doing to prepare for this game, but like I said, circling back to the coaches now, I'm already done with Jared Goff. He is an innocent bystander who doesn't deserve what he's getting right now. Gotta tell you. Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson. I know Ben Johnson left already to go somewhere else. But
Traitor.
For me, what'd you say?
Traitor.
No good. Get the fuck out of there.
No, you know where you don't know. Do you know where he went?
I knew he's Chicago, right?
He went to the Bears.
Yeah. Good. I would too. If I had to listen to fucking Captain Dumbfuck every day. Dude, seriously, Dan Campbell is such a good coach at managing personnel, calling plays during the regular season, and designing plays during the regular season. But for some reason, in key, critical, obvious game moments, he loses about 90 IQ points and turns into a troglodytic moron. I don't know how the fuck he pulls it off. It's so stupid. There was a 3rd down or 4th down. I cannot remember exactly. It was either 3rd or 4th down. And this motherfucker, near the end of the game, they needed a 1st down. And this stupid asshole decides to call a wildcat play in which the running back is expected to throw the ball deep. They only need a few yards. But you're going to have the running back throw a bomb. Whoa, that's fucking dumb. What is wrong with you? You should be ashamed of yourself, whoever drew up that play. Whoever came up with that fucking play call in that situation should be fucking ashamed of yourselves. And honestly, I'm surprised that the city of Detroit isn't at your doorstep with fire torches and pitchforks, because that was just so ridiculous. I can tell you this. If Nick Sirianni ever calls a fucking play like that, boneheaded shit like that in a playoff spot, he's out of town, buddy. I'm done with him. He's gone. That was fucking stupid. I have never seen such a horrible play call in my entire life. And it's that kind of wild fucking harebrained scheme antics that lost them this game and stops the Lions every single fucking season from making it to a goddamn Super Bowl. You should be ashamed of yourselves, you stupid assholes.
Man.
I will say, though, Jahmyr Gibbs, excellent performance.
God damn, Tom. Like I knew you didn't like what happened in that game, but God damn,
I was cooking this one on a low heat for a few days.
I see. Jesus,
It was just completely unacceptable in your home stadium to turn the ball over 5 fucking times, have dumbass play calls, and I get that that's his thing. Oh, I have weird play calls that throw off the other team, and I choose to go for it on 4th down a whole lot, and it works out for me most of the time. Yeehaw! Why in that spot do you choose to get creative? Bro, hand it to Jahmyr Gibbs. He had a 105-yard game. Just give it to the motherfucker. This is like when it's reminiscent of when Pete Carroll called a passing play in the Super Bowl against the Patriots instead of just handing it to Marshawn Lynch for a touchdown to win the game. Oh, interception in the end zone by the Patriots. End of the Super Bowl. You lost. Sorry, Petey. You're a dumbass. Now, Dan Campbell, you get the title of dumbass for this play call. And Ben Johnson should have been in his ear. What the fuck are you thinking? Don't call that play, you fucking idiot. What are you thinking? And the fact that he didn't, man, the Bears are going to suck.
A quick aside. Welcome Pete Carroll to the division with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, you poor bastard. Honestly, now that we're on this topic, I'm really surprised that Pete Carroll ended up going to the Raiders. I did not think that they were going to pick him. I didn't think it was a good fit. I just didn't expect it. I thought he was going to end up with the Jets.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be really interesting.
I just see Pete Carroll as the type of guy who, at this point in his career, wants to go to a team that's almost Super Bowl ready, but it just needs the coach to iron things out, and then they can get there. And I think that the Jets are much closer to a Super Bowl than the Raiders are.
Yeah.
Personally.
Well,
I gotta tell you, though, they got a good-ass tight end, that Brock Bowers kid. Woo! God damn, he is good. Fuck
right.
me.
Shall we continue?
Yeah, you can go ahead now.
Okay.
Wait, do you mean move on to another game, or do you got stuff to say about this one?
No.
I wasn't done then.
They're like, what more is there to say?
Well, now we got to talk about the Commanders. That was all just for what I had for the Lions.
Oh, okay.
I got like 6 more in the chamber, little brother.
Okay.
We got to talk about the Commanders a little bit. Jaden Daniels is a fucking menace, okay? Terry McLaurin finally has a quarterback who can actually get him the ball. He's a fucking menace. Brian Robinson Jr., I don't believe. Trash. I'm not a believer in him. However, Austin Eckler, confirmed stud. I think that with their powers combined, they can win football teams. However, I gotta say, the real star of the Commanders in this game against the Lions was their defense. The defense has been like their Achilles heel all season. If you don't remember, there was one point where the Washington Commanders had one of the worst run defenses in football. Well, over the course of the playoffs, they've really tightened that shit up. The run defense has really ramped up its game, which is very terrifying. I'm excited and dubious of the Commanders' success. Now we can move on.
All right.
Jaden Daniels is a wizard, and I hate him.
Yep.
What? That smile off your face, you little bastard.
I really like what Vic Fangio said about him.
He's quick.
No, he said he's a young quarterback only by birth certificate.
Oh, that's sick. I didn't hear that.
Yeah, no, Vic.
He's right.
Vic put mad props, and you know what? He's shown it.
Well, that's Vic Fangio just has more class than a lot of other guys in the NFL at this point. Like, we'll get to this when we look at next week. I'll put a pin in this one, and we'll come back in the next segment here.
All right.
When we're talking about the games upcoming.
All right. So moving on, we have the Rams.
Do you want to do Ravens Bills first, or do you want to do Eagles Rams first?
Well, so far we've been going in order. Yeah. So let's go with the Eagles. Selling $50 of snow I get it, but I hate it.
$50 of snow.
Yeah, so maybe you didn't know this. After the game, on NFL auctions, or maybe it was the Philadelphia Eagles website, one of them, you could buy for $50 a pint of snow from that game. And
Dude,
it actually sold out.
I'm
I don't
telling
know.
you, if
I
Saquon
don't know.
Barkley pissed in a cup, people would pay $500 for it.
I don't know what kind of stock we're talking about. But I remember seeing a clip of Darius. Like, he was being interviewed and he was being told, like, oh yeah, like, people are buying snow from the game. They're selling snow from the game? Yeah, it's sold out. Oh, man. The fans of the city, gosh.
That's
Like,
insane.
yeah.
No, like, listen, that's crazy. That's
Yeah.
craziness. That's the
Yeah.
kind of shit that makes me like, do I really want to be associated with these people?
And you know what else is crazy?
No.
Saquon Barkley, 205 yards,
baby!
2 touchdowns.
It wasn't even close.
Embarrassing Jared Verse for his stupid ass comments for
I
his
gotta tell you,
first
dude.
touchdown.
Memes aside,
Mm-hmm.
this game was way closer than it should have been.
Oh,
Probably
absolutely.
because of the snow.
Mm-hmm. No,
The
absolutely.
weather events like that normally help offenses more than defenses because the defense is on a little bit of a lag. They have to react rather than get to start. So they're kind of already on a disadvantage. But when you add the weather to it, people are slipping and sliding and they can't get traction and it's harder to react. Leaves people open, makes things harder for the defense. So I think that that's why this game was so close. Hopefully we don't have snow this Sunday. Hopefully our defense is able to play a little bit better. That'd be nice. We have Quinion back. We have Jalen Hurts are ready to go. So but we'll talk about next week in the next segment when we bring the pin back.
Yeah.
I'm gonna forget my pin. I'm just letting you know.
That's fine.
I already brought it. So what do you think about this game, Mark? What's going on here? Why did the Eagles struggle so much against a team that everybody thought they would just walk all over? What happened here? Was it just the snow or was there something else going on?
Well, I don't think the snow helped as much as people thought it would, definitely.
I thought it would help a lot more.
But what I have to say is that I think that no, I think that there needs to be a serious talk about the passing scheme and the receivers.
I'm really glad
because I'm gonna put this out. A lot of talk about Hurts. Man, he holds it on too long. Fair enough. I think that could be a bit of a problem, but he doesn't turn the ball over. He went 15 for 20, 128 yards in the air in the snow, a 75% completion rate. I think I said this last week. I don't remember. Have to look back at it. Hurts isn't the problem here. What seems to be a consistent issue is Kellen Moore is not scheming people open, and the receivers are not creating separation. I do not have NFL Premium. I do not have NFL Premium, so I've only seen some videos of people looking at the film, like watching routes and how receivers are being covered and everything. But from what I've seen, people are not getting open, and Hurts holds on to the ball, which, you know what? I appreciate. I would rather him hold it or throw it away than risk an interception.
I'd rather
I
him score touchdowns with his arm.
I would like that
Real
too.
quick on rapid fire like an assault rifle.
I'd like that too.
But it ain't what we got. So anyway,
Yeah.
I'm really glad the way that you're phrasing this. You're right. It's the passing scheme that's a problem, not the passer that's the problem. 15 for 20 and 128 yards. Brother, you're literally throwing it less than 5 yards on every play at that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're averaging like 8 yards a play for each completion. So I just don't okay, here's my thoughts on this. First of all, why is our franchise quarterback only throwing the ball 20 times? It was a snow game. I'll give him a pass just because of the snow. Don't want to throw it a whole lot. Don't want to slip and fall and break his ankle. Okay, fine. I get it. We're only going to throw it 20 times. However, you let him run for 70 yards. Why, if it's because of the snow that you're not having him pass it a whole bunch, why are you telling him to run the ball? It doesn't make much sense to me. I don't understand that. That's a little interesting. Why is it that Saquon is getting 26 rushes to Jalen Hurts' 27 total snaps, like possessions, I mean, his touches, where he either ran it or tried to attempt a pass. 27 times a play was called with him at the helm. That's a bad ratio. And I'm not saying you have to pass it more. I'm not saying that. But I am saying when you do pass it, why are you not opening it up for more of his strengths? And a lot of people, I've been seeing a lot of people complain about him getting sacked and things like that in this game. But something that I don't understand is, are you watching what's happening on these plays where he's getting sacked? There were 2 of the 7 sacks where I'm like, holy shit, that's Hurts' fault. He absolutely made a mistake on that one. The one of them that was really egregious was the safety. The safety was completely fucking unacceptable on Hurts' part. Like, here's the thing on that safety, okay? Spike it into the fucking dirt when you see the guy in your face. You're gonna get an intentional grounding penalty. You're on the 1 yard line. What are they gonna do? Who cares? Fuck them. It's better than giving them 2 points and the ball back. That safety, single-handedly, that one terrible decision almost cost the Eagles a trip to the NFC Championship game. And it was real fucking close to that safety being the difference in the game. And I swear to you, Marcus, if that was the play, if the Eagles lost this game after that safety, I swear to you, every member of that staff would have been fired. And honestly, reasonably so. Because that... All right. How is the coach not telling Jalen, in a situation like this, take the penalty? Spike the ball. Take the penalty. Who cares? What are they going to do? Move you back a yard? A couple inches? Who gives a fuck? It's better than 2 points and the ball back. So, and then the other one, I don't remember exactly when it was, but there was one where he held it for like 7 seconds and then tried to run away and got sacked. That's not acceptable. But on almost all the others, the other 5 plays where I say, you might want to look a little bit closer, there's no check down valve for him to throw it to. And then 2, the O-line just, some people, they just let him blow right past him, and they just slammed right into Hurts' face. And Hurts does this thing, okay, where I think he draws more attention to the sacks that he takes then he should feel responsible for. And hear me out on this one when I say this. I have seen Hurts numerous times, okay? He'll have a guy run at him and he's in his face. Jalen Hurts will be more of the quarterback who, instead of just throwing it up and hoping for the best or spiking it and taking the penalty, he is more of the kind of... What?
He'll hold on to it.
Not even that. He'll try to get away, succeed, and then get hit from behind by the guy. You understand what I'm saying? Like, he'll try to roll out and get hit while he's rolling out. It's not... The issue isn't... He has a guy in his face too fast, and once the guy is in your face already, you're done. Like, even if you juke them, it's so easy to get sacked, because even if you get rid of that first guy, he already disrupted the play so much that there's another guy in your face. And you can't set your feet and throw the ball. And quite frankly, Jalen Hurts is a very, very accurate and good passer when he has the chance to set his feet and throw the ball. If he doesn't have that chance to set his feet and throw the ball, I've noticed that he makes a significantly large number of mistakes. And that's every quarterback. But I've noticed that Jalen, he kind of puts himself in really bad situations when it comes to setting his feet and staying in the pocket and maintaining like the basic proper mechanics of throwing the football. And I think that that's something that needs to be addressed in the quarterback room during a coaching meeting. And I'm not saying it's like every play or nothing, but like every now and then he gets blamed for a sack because you see him dancing around, right? And it's not his fault that he has to dance around if the guy just burst right through the O-line. Like, yes, he is technically holding the ball for 7 seconds, but for 6.5 of those seconds, he had a guy in his face and he was dancing around to even make the play work on any level. So, not really his fault, more the O-line's fault. And, yeah, I have noticed something this year in the league that a lot of defenses are starting to adapt to, because against teams like... Okay, so the Eagles have potentially the best O-line in the history of football. I think most people would say this is at least a top 5 O-line of all time. I agree. So the thing is, when you're watching teams play against the best O-line in football, you get to really see how defensive coordinators try and work around really good O-lines. You get to see the best attempts, pretty much is what I'm saying. And something that I've noticed a lot of defenses doing this season, against not just the Eagles, but other teams as well, and I don't know if this goes back previous years, but I really noticed it this year, is that they will start the line with 5 people, and they will drop back random guys. It's not the same 2 guys anymore who drop back. They'll have like random people, because now linemen, they're a lot smaller and faster than they used to be. So sometimes 2 of the guys who don't normally drop back will drop back, and the O-lineman will get confused on who they're supposed to block, because they expected that dude to drop back, but it's actually that dude that drops back, and then the other guy's already behind them because they can't set their feet at the right angle. So I've been seeing defenses get pretty creative with beating O-lines, and most of the times where a guy would blow past the O-line, that's exactly what they did. So, I mean, I wish I had a piece of paper so I could explain what I'm saying right now. But imagine there's 5 guys on the line, okay? 5 or 6 guys on the line. Looks like they're calling blitz, okay? Box is stacked. They've stacked the box. The 2 guys, the linebackers that you expect to drop back, maybe only one linebacker and a different lineman would drop back, like a D end, and the other linebacker goes in instead of dropping back with the other linebacker. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's very confusing for O-lines. O-lines are trying to adapt to it. Luckily, we have Jeff Stoutland, who is arguably the single best O-line coach who has ever lived. I don't know how the fuck he does it, but I have started to see some defenses adapt to this, And the problem here is that I think that the Rams laid a really good playbook out for the Commanders on what they should do to confuse Hurts and the O-line going into this NFC Championship game. So, major kudos on the Rams. I think every single Eagles fan can agree that the Rams put up one hell of a fucking fight in this football game. I don't think the Rams deserve any hate for this, and I think that they did everything that they could be expected to, and then some. They weren't even expected to make it to the playoffs. So I think that the Rams should feel pretty good about themselves. Going home, they got a playoff win this season. I don't think that they should be too upset while they rest in Cancun.
Completely agree. But on the other hand, talk shit, get hit.
Yeah, Jared Verse really opened himself up to some stupid shit. They threw snow at him on his way out of the game, you know.
I know.
And honestly, what a bitch. He talked mad shit going into this game, man. I hate Eagles fans. I hate the way they look. I hate their hair. I hate how they sound. Fuck them. I hate white and green. It just pisses me off. And then going up and taunting Jalen Carter before the game. Oh, I'm going to take your game check next week. Blah, 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 blah. Really taunting them, going like this to the fans in the stands. Insane levels of taunting. The Eagles fans. And they dump snow on him after the loss on his way back into the locker room. And in an interview afterwards, he says, they dumped snow on me. I mean, I gotta respect them. They really care about their team. They really love their team. I respect that. 10 toes down, they stood on business. And I'm like, man, you are such a baby. Call them fucking pieces of garbage like you mean it. With your whole chest. Say we fucking suck. God damn you. It's just like, come on, don't backpedal, bro. So, yeah. All right, take the floor, Marky.
Yeah.
I was pissed.
So, I should save this for when we talk about next week. So I'm going to say this. Stop blaming Hurts for the passing game. It's not his fault.
Exclusively. He's part of it.
Exclusively. It is not just him. Start talking about the other parts of the passing game because it's not a one-man activity. Like,
another thing that I want to say about that is that, yes, there were 7 sacks. Yes, arguable whose fault it is. And yes, sacks are drive killers inherently. You get sacked 99% of the time after the sack, you are not going to get a first down and continue the drive. 99% of the time. However, the Rams got sacked 5 times. Matthew Stafford was eating turf 5 times in this game. And they still got up a fuckload of yards. It is not just about sacks, okay? Like, the thing is, the Eagles play their offense in a way that most fans are not used to seeing an offense in the NFL be played. They are more, I hate to say it like this, they're super old school and simple. They are playing in the way of, we're going to beat you over a couple of inches in a cloud of fucking dust in the center of the field. That's the kind of football that the Eagles are playing right now. How far can it take you? You're goddamn right, we're about to find out. But here's my thing. I think that Jalen Hurts is good enough that if Saquon Barkley isn't able to get it done in any specific game, Jalen Hurts can come in and he can throw for 250 plus yards and get you 2 touchdowns. I think that he can win shootouts. We saw it this season when he played against Joe Burrow. We saw it this season when he played against the Steelers. We saw it this season when he played against the Packers. We saw him play well. We saw him perform in shootout situations. And in previous years, we saw him throwing the ball all over the field. So I have full confidence that if he needs to step up in a big spot, he can play as that X-factor player and get the job done. I have my full confidence in him.
Mhm.
That's not to say that he's like the best quarterback ever, but he is definitely good enough to win a Super Bowl.
True.
Like at this point, I think that if they don't win the Super Bowl, it says a lot more about the coaching staff than it does about Jalen.
Mhm.
Personally.
Now, on to our final game.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about Mr. Andrews.
I'm not going to talk about him. I just want. I just want to say, it would have really been nice to have the top 2 running backs in the Super Bowl.
Oh, I knew that wasn't happening.
And unfortunately, playoff Lamar.
Oh, Lamerica, you mean?
Yeah.
Save us, Lamerica Jackson.
And all I can. I don't want to think about this game too much because it's heartbreaking.
I think actually in hindsight, so I enjoyed watching this football game, but in hindsight, it really wasn't the best football game. Like, I know that the score was really close, but I kind of felt like the Bills were mostly in control for almost the whole game. They were mostly in the driver's seat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like here, look at the box score. 7-7 end of the first, but then it was 21-10 going into the half. Like,
Yeah.
I felt like the Bills were really in the driver's seat. And there was only one touchdown that the Ravens scored, right?
No, they scored they scored in the third with a field goal and touchdown.
Did they miss the extra point?
No, they tried for
They
a
tried for
2-point,
2. Makes
and
sense.
they failed it.
Yeah. That's another thing in the Eagles game. There was a point where I was like, why are they not going for 2? And I was very upset about it.
Yeah.
But yeah. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on the Bills Ravens game either. But I do gotta say, I feel really, really bad for Mark Andrews because he's a good player. 99% of the time he catches that pass at the end of the game.
Yeah.
The lights were just too bright for him. He was in the Jerry Jones Superdome, and he just the lights hit him in the eyeballs and he couldn't see.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened there. The lights were too bright for him. So, you ready? You have to.
Championship game.
It's time to talk about the championship games. I want to start with the Eagles Commanders because that's who I'm going to spend the most time on. Because I
that's
think
fine.
the Chiefs Bills game is like a 1-sentence description of how I feel about them. So let's go with the Commanders and the Eagles. I'm nervous. This is the first time in the entire season where I have gone, I don't know about this game. And you guys know, our listeners know, Marky, you know. At the start of the playoffs, I literally said the worst possible thing that could ever happen to the Eagles is that they have to play the Commanders.
Yeah.
Look what fucking happens.
And lo and
when I
behold,
open my mouth.
yeah, we could really blame this all on you.
I'll take it because the Eagles are gonna win anyway. But holy shit. There's a couple of things thrown in this game. One thing that I want to talk about is the defensive coordinator for the Washington Commanders. Did you hear what he said?
No.
So, Washington Commanders defensive coordinator has come out now in a press conference a few days ago, and I think he was trying to get in the Eagles' head during the game planning process. And he said, if Hurts runs, we're going to hit him like a running back. And I mean really hit him. And I understand the mentality there. We're going to scare the Eagles maybe a little bit, maybe make Jalen a little more hesitant to run, something like that. But what it actually does, in effect, I feel, is let all the refs know to keep a real close eye on your players every single time they get near Jalen Hurts. So, yeah, I think that was a bad call by the Washington defensive coordinator. I just don't know why you'd put the target on your back. Like, you could easily say that behind closed doors to your players. You could even send a text message to an Eagles player saying that. But why say that in a press conference to the public and let the refs know you said that before the game? That's just kind of stupid, in my opinion.
Because the game's already been decided.
No. Stop with your conspiracies, little Marky. But I think that was a bad call by him. I think that the best way for us to handle this game is to compare piece by piece the Eagles versus Commanders. So, Mark, who is better, the Eagles wide receivers or the Washington Commanders corners?
Well, the receivers are better.
Yeah, the Eagles receivers swamp ass the Commanders corners. I don't think that's even a competition for AJ Brown and Devonta Smith. That's not even close.
I don't think we need to be comparing players.
You think the Eagles are just that much better?
Yeah. Wait,
good, because me too.
Okay.
The whole point here was going to be that I don't think there's even one position where there's a player on the Commanders I would rather have.
Yeah.
Not one.
So the question now is Kellen Moore going to have a vanilla offense?
Yeah, I was about to say. The only place where I think there's deficits is that I think Cliff Kingsbury is better than Kellen Moore. And here's the thing, Mark. I don't know if you remember or not, but let's rewind time a little bit here to when we were picking our offensive coordinator. And I remember with my noodle, I said, man, I really want the Eagles to hire Cliff Kingsbury as the offensive coordinator. That sounds fantastic. He got hired by the Commanders, and I said, fuck, this is awful. How could they? I was right. Tell me, with the turnaround that the Commanders have had, do you think that Kellen Moore is better as an OC than Cliff Kingsbury?
No.
Me neither. I think it's the only deficit between the two teams.
Look, I'll say this. I like what Kellen Moore has done, especially after last season. He has been a marked improvement over Brian Johnson. But at the same time, the passing game, as the season has progressed, has diminished. Lapsed? Is that what you said?
Lacked. The passing game has lacked.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's been lacking as the season has gone on, and you know what? I get it. We got Saquon, generational running back, great guy. I love giving him the ball.
Saquon's amazing.
Thank you, Giants.
Yeah.
But we also have
depressing.
We also have these superstars at wideout 1, wideout 2, tight end. You know, like they could get the ball sometime, and they do pass the ball, but it's only when Hurts sees them being safe,
or they're in a situation where it's so critically important that they have no choice.
Also true. And so everybody can see what you're doing, Kellen, and they're covering our guys. Get our guys
Couldn't
open.
have said it better myself.
Get our guys open. Players, you guys are superstars, but where's the separation? Now, I don't understand football enough. I don't know how much separation is like.
How long are you going to use that excuse?
I don't because like I say separation, but I don't fully understand. Like, is that like pushing off the guy? Is that like
No, it's
trying to
just the
break?
distance between you and the defender.
Okay,
You can do it in any way you see fit.
okay. Like when they get on top of you, you could try to like pull back a little, like, create some distance. Like this isn't just on Kellen. I think Kellen Moore is the scheme is probably. I would give it like
I give him a B. I think
yeah,
Kellen Moore gets a B on this season.
yeah. I mean, if he sticks around for next season and they're lighting it up in the air, Saquon's running, what?
He still gets a B this season.
Oh, I mean, yeah, sure, no, fine, whatever. I'd be like, yes, Kling's carrying, like, Kellen Moore, amazing, great. He just needed to find his feet. But right now, in this moment, you need to be a little better.
Yeah, he ain't too great right now. I'm
There are two
I'm thoroughly
more.
disappointed in him.
There is one more game, and with better scheming and better separation, there's another one, and beyond that, a ring.
Don't fuck it
Uh,
up.
like, look, I believe this has. You said it. You said it earlier, and I've turned around. I think this is a better looking team than 2022.
Yeah, I tried to tell you.
I've come around to this.
So what about the O-line?
Mekhi Becton deserves this. Yeah, sure, whatever.
Is the O-line better this year?
Yes, it is.
I know. I'm glad to see that you're finally starting to see reason.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad to hear you finally say that, Marcus. I feel like this is the same way that a therapist feels during a major breakthrough with an alcoholic patient.
This is a great shot we have, and if we have to lose here and then also lose another coordinator going into the next season,
Yeah, Kellen Moore's getting a head coaching job somewhere.
like, come on, please.
Honestly, he might go to the Jets.
Kellen, if you're going to leave, at least get us the ring before you leave. Get Hurts a ring, motherfucker.
See, here's the thing. I think this year is the window. I think if the Eagles don't get it here, that door is closed.
Really?
Yeah, we've had like 3 or 4 years of really, really high level NFL football out of the Eagles. You can't sustain that forever. You can't pay everybody. It just doesn't work that way. And I think that Kellen Moore will leave after this season, and we'll still be good. I just don't think we'll be championship good.
Bill Belichick comes out of retirement. Eagles OC.
Please, God, no. Well, he'd be. Hold on. Bill Belichick would never be an offensive coordinator. He'd be a defensive coordinator.
I know.
Get that shit out of here. Fuck you. Everybody was talking, like, last year, everybody was talking about how bad they wanted Bill Belichick to coach for the Eagles. And I'm like, for what? So he can make sassy remarks during press conferences?
Yeah.
Idiots.
And another point on the Eagles, the Commanders game. Defense. Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work. I know
Jalen Carter literally won them that game.
I know that it's been touted, like, everybody, like, oh my god, Jalen Carter, Zach Bond, the DBs.
Nope.
Yep.
Not even Zach Bond. Nope. Jalen Carter won that football game.
No, I'm talking like in general. talking about.
No, I know you are. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying in this game, we won because Jalen Carter was on the field.
No, I agree.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm just throwing it out there.
All right.
You're so argumentative, Mark.
I just don't get that when I was trying to list off the defensive the defensive players over the season, you went back to Jalen Carter won that game. Like, I'm not talking about the Rams game. I'm talking about the season. What are you smiling at me for?
You're just real angry, man.
Fuck you. I am angry.
You might need to get some anger management help. I mean,
I am fucking angry. This is an amazing looking defense. Fuck you. This is an amazing looking defense. And if anybody but Vic Fangio gets Defensive Coach of the Year,
he ain't getting that shit. He's an Eagles coach, you idiot.
I will burn down whatever.
Listen, brother. He's an Eagles coach. He ain't getting shit.
It's so fucking dumb, man.
Dude, the awards are fucking stupid. Who cares?
I care.
Why?
Man deserves a reward as empty as it might be.
People based off of their performance for those awards. They pick people based off of whoever they're best friends with. Like, dude, look, Brian Daboll won a Coach of the Year award for winning a playoff game. Come on, brother. In the year where it was Sirianni's second year as a head coach and he went all the way to the Super Bowl, Brian Daboll got Coach of the Year for winning a single playoff game. That's how low the bar is for every other team.
I'm sorry, the 2023 defensive performance really pisses me off.
Oh, dude, they were bad last season. Mr. Desai was very clearly the problem.
Yeah.
Dude, there are so many people. Here's how good of a job Vic Fangio has done since he's gotten here. He has done so well that even Eagles fans forget the name of the previous guy that they hated. I have met so many people who have already said, well, Vic Fangio is better than that guy they had last year. I don't remember his name. Fucking whatever. Sean Desai. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. Times they've changed, brother.
Yeah, I will never forget what he did to us.
No, the one that you really hated was Ben Johnson. Or Brian Johnson.
I will never forget what the two of them did. But yes, I did hate Brian Johnson more.
Dude, you would not shut the fuck up about Brian Johnson. We would be literally just sitting around the campfire telling stories. And Mark would just go, that fucking Brian Johnson motherfucker runs a high school offense.
Maybe if it wasn't
I gotta say, brother.
Maybe if it wasn't a fucking screen every other fucking play. Like, oh my god.
Kellen Moore's really not that much better. So far. He got lucky. He got lucky that Saquon is on a tear. Saquon Barkley and Jalen Carter have bailed the Eagles out of so many horrible situations this season. It's kind of remarkable. Got you, Kellen Moore. Not the biggest fan. I wasn't the biggest fan when they picked him either, to be completely fair. However, if they win a Super Bowl, best defensive coordinator of all time. So you ready to move on, Marky?
Yeah, Bills, please do it. Please.
I'm going to give you my one sentence to describe the Bills-Chiefs game.
All right, what's yours?
Follow me closely. because I only need one sentence. The Bills never beat the Chiefs. That's the only thing I have to say about that game. Yes, they won a regular season game against the Chiefs. This is a little different. This is an AFC Championship game. The Bills never beat the Chiefs. The Bills already had their Super Bowl. They're done now. I mean, not that they don't have a chance. In all reality, memes aside, I think the Bills have a chance. But you force a gun to my head, I'm going to tell you that the Bills never beat the Chiefs. I'm taking the Chiefs, and I'm taking the Eagles. We forgot to do our spread. Mark, who are you taking in the Chiefs? Who are you taking in the Eagles-Commanders game? What's your point spread that you'd take?
Eagles by 3.
Whoa. It's rare that you're more confident than me. I think it's really close. Eagles plus 0.5 or minus 0.5.
God damn.
Like, I think the Eagles might win this game by a single point if they win at all. Like, this for me is the closest game of the entire season.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of there. Coin flip. Whoa. Yeah. I give the Eagles a 51% chance of victory.
I like those odds.
It's close, dude. Like,
no, I've been I have unironically been saying to my coworker, to the coworker that cares about football, I've been saying to him, man, I'm really fucking worried about this weekend.
Yeah, I've been saying it all week too. I think that this is going to be the greatest challenge that the Eagles have faced this season as a team. Honestly, bold statement here. This is the biggest game that the Eagles have played since their last Super Bowl win. I think this game is more landmark than the Super Bowl appearance 2 years ago against the Chiefs.
Damn.
There is more in this game. There is more buzz about this game. It's going to be a better game, and it's going to be a monumental landmark game in Eagles history. People are going to talk about the Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl, but that came off the coattail. It wasn't too long before then that we had won one, so people weren't really as wild as they were. People don't really remember it as being like, this is the worst fucking thing ever, oh my god. It wasn't like that, because we had just won one, but I think people will remember this one. People are gonna be storming the beaches if they lose this one. Let me put it to you this way. People talk about how the Eagles lost the Super Bowl to the Chiefs, but this game, if the Eagles lose this game to the Commanders, Eagles fans are never going to forget this game.
Yeah.
Ever.
True.
This is going to be the Buccaneers from the early 2000s.
Yeah.
They will never forget this game. And if we win, Eagles fans are never going to forget this game. And that's why I think it's so landmark.
No, that's fair.
I take the Eagles by a half point.
And I will say this. If we somehow lose.
Don't say that, dude.
Okay, fine. If we do lose, as long as it's not the Bills, I'm rooting for the commies. If it is a Chiefs,
I have thought long and hard about
if it's
this,
a
Marcus.
Chiefs commies Super Bowl, I will unabashedly root for the commies. I thought they would be good, and if they make it to the Super Bowl, go for it. I will accept that.
I
As long as it's the
Can't.
Chiefs. If it's the Bills, no, fuck that. Get crushed in the dirt.
earlier in the week, I was really thinking about that. What if the Eagles lose and it's the Commanders and the Chiefs? I don't know. Yeah, I'll have to get back to you. I don't know who I'd root for. If the Eagles win, I'll come back and say I would have rooted for the Commanders. If the Eagles lose, it's going to be a fucking hellstorm on this podcast next week. Tears and brimstone. All right. I think it's time to wrap this guy up. But first, what's your spread and who are you picking in the Chiefs-Bills game? I got a juicy take on this one.
How about you go first?
I'm taking the Chiefs, and I'm taking them by 4.5. For the uninitiated, that means I think the Chiefs will win by at least 5.
I'll take the Bills.
By
3.5.
All right, sounds like a matchup.
My brain tells me it's going to be the Chiefs. Logic tells me it's going to be the Chiefs. That ain't
what logic in your brain should. The Bills should win this game.
Yeah, they should, but
repeat after me. The Bills never beat the Chiefs. And I rest my case.
Man.
All right. I think it's time to wrap up. Thank you for joining us on this week of the Fumble Forecast. Playoffs still. We love that. Love to see it. And you're going to want to hear it next week too. So make sure you hit that subscribe or follow button, depending on the platform that you're watching. As long as it's Spotify or YouTube, it can be any platform that you find your podcast on. And yeah, have a nice week, guys. Go Birds. And I think we're good here. But there's one thing we got to do before we're done here, Marky. Go Birds. EAGLES Eagles! Have a nice night, guys.
Bye-bye.